Hello and what is up, guys? Rye here and welcome back to some more automation and BeamNG.Drive. Today we're building a race car. Who doesn't love building a race car? We're building one from 1966 is the year. This is going to be a competitor to something like a Ford GT40 or other Le Mans racers of the time. Now, I'm not saying I'm building a Le Mans race car, but I'm kind of building a Le Mans race car. And I can't promise we'll test it on the actual racetrack, but I'll test it on some racetrack. So we're gonna hop in here with the short wheelbase 1960 coupe, which is a absolutely beautiful car right here. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do for panels. We'll leave it on aluminum for now. We can go fiberglass or aluminum. Honestly, it's already gonna be crazy fast. Mid-mounted longitudinal is the way to go. Double wishbone, double wishbone. This is gonna be a high budget car probably for the time at least. So we'll go +5 on the quality slider there and build ourselves a new engine. So, I was thinking Ford GT40 competitor. A V8, right? That's going to compete with the GT40. Well, it's going to compete with it for sure, but I want something better. I want something cooler. Either a V12 or a V16 is the way to go. V16 is too large. So V12 it is. Cast iron. I'm not sure. I'm sure that dual red cam 4-valve would have been possible back in the day, but it probably wasn't all too common. All cast iron for this, though, and we'll decrease the bore end stroke just a bit. We'll make it a smaller engine. I mean, smaller, relatively speaking, to the GT40's 7-liter V8. We'll do, what, a 4-liter V12? We can up this a bit, the stroke a bit. It'll be definitely a large stroke engine, but that's okay. This is just more for fun here. This car's going to be gosh darn awesome. So a 4-liter V12, forged, all forged, of course. We'll do, what, +10 on the internals, I think. For that, we got to save some money. We can't do +15 there. iCam profile, we'll start off with 80. That sounds fine, and then we'll do a +5 there as well. And then, not mechanical fuel injection, no. DCOE, 6 carburetors, race, and we could run it on super leaded, I think, for this one. But we could probably run it on regular, because you know what? I'm not a leaded fuel gang kind of guy. Automotive Flux, if you're watching, I love leaded fuel gang. Everyone should worship leaded fuel gang, but no leaded fuel gang for us today. Just regular fuel here, even though that's probably not what it would use, but, this is maybe a street version of a race car. Maybe not. I don't know. This is for fun. Race tubular headers, 2.5-inch exhaust to start. And we'll just go for one baffle muffler. One reverse flow muffler it is. That's all we need. We'll have to 7,500 RPM, which seems like a reasonably high amount of RPM, I think. Nothing too crazy, but reasonable. The race car maybe can rev to 8,000, I think. The crank, actually, we can get a cheaper crank. There we go. So far, right off the bat, 375 horsepower, which is impressive, I would say, and 285 torque, which is not as impressive, but this is a high-revving engine, and we can actually use a bit less fuel here, and we will play around with a few things. We're going to lower the cam profile a bit, because rated peak power a little high up there. We're going to lose a bit of horsepower, but that's okay. And then we will actually increase the ignition timing and the fuel just a bit. This engine's not going to be anything crazy. It's going to be a good engine. It's going to sound great. That's the biggest thing. This engine's going to sound great. That's kind of important to me, right? The engine's got to sound good. That's one of the most important things, in my opinion. Okay, 360. We're losing a bit of torque there, but we're losing a bit of torque and horse. But I like even numbers so much. So we can go over 360 horse. I mean, look, we are getting more efficiency. That's important, right? No. So I think this is okay for now. I might change it later. But right off the bat here, 360 horsepower, 295 torque, so a little bit low in the torque. This is a pretty small cylinder engine. It's 4-liter V12, so it's quite small. We're not going to hear how it sounds yet. We're going to save that for BeamNG. The choices for the body are this, which I don't like this one. There's this one, which I don't like that one either. And there's this one, which I like this one. I'm not sure. I know Canadian Steel actually built the car recently. Very recently, to compete against the Common Turismo 1000, I think is what it was. And I'm building one that's not going to compete against that. It's going to be a little bit faster, as you already can tell, but make sure to check out Canadian Steel's build too after this one, obviously. We're going to do a 5-speed manual, automatic locking diffs, top speed, oh yeah, 300 kilometers an hour, no problem. Semi-slicks and some nice thick AF tires. We're actually going to make the back a little bit wider if we can here. Just a little bit, just sticking out, just peeking out. Oh, we can do that actually. Oh, yeah, that seems better already. Oh, we do this too, or no? There we go. We can peek that up just a bit. They'll do 295s and 255s, so really, really massive rear tires. I'll make the tire diameter a bit bigger so they look a bit thicker. They are juicy AF tires. 15-inch wheels. Seems about standard, to be honest. +5 on the tire quality, though, for now. And the brakes, we'll go for the best just for now. And we'll do +5, because I'm not sure if this thing is... They're 1966 brakes. Semi-clad under tray, I'll do +5 as well. This thing is going to need to achieve a pretty high top speed. Now we're going to go basic and none for entertainment. This is going to save us some weight. A bit of money, obviously, doesn't really matter there. But when I'm thinking of, like, you know, a race car or a supercar, basically, is what this is. I'm thinking just totally stripped out everything. I kind of like having that as a long boy, but yeah, totally stripped out is how I'm imagining this thing. I'll actually make the front a bit longer, and I'll make this a bit smoother. I kind of like it being smooth. I kind of like that. Yeah, that's nice. And we'll do no power steering, and then we'll do advanced safety, because you got to have good safety for these things. I'm not sure if it's going to be that great. And we'll go progressive gas tube mono, and we'll tune it to race. So right off the bat here, 2,250 pounds. We are lighter than a GT40, pushing less horsepower with a much smaller engine. 0 to 60, or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour is 3.9 seconds. We can do a top speed of 300 and nearly 50 kilometers an hour, which is insane. Definitely a quick car. 3.8 0 to 60. Top speed of... Okay, we're achieving just 285, actually. Let's throw that down here. 292. 292 as well. 3.5 0 to 60. Oh, we are approaching modern supercar 0 to 60. This thing is going to be absolutely crazy to drive. We'll tune up a few more things +5, I think. +5 is pretty reasonable. Only $140,000 $2012, so it is quite cheap of a vehicle. I'm sure there was a budget. We can probably do... Oh, but look at this thing. Oh, this thing is going to be so... No, not +15. +10, maybe? But +8? We're at 185,000. Oh, she's going to be really light. Let's go +10 on this. I could go McPherson strut to save 50 pounds or so. That would save some weight. All aluminum. Oh, this is going to be such a beautiful car. Under 2,000 pounds. Under 2,000 pounds. We go +10 on the tires. We need more grip. Like 280,000, this seems like a reasonably expensive vehicle. Under 19 or under 2,000 pounds. Definitely more than enough stopping power. We can actually make it a bit smaller, I'm thinking. Like that, and we'll tune it a bit more. Rear bias and the brakes there. That's not bad. So definitely a pretty good starting, I think pretty good starting position for this car. What I'm going to do now is design this car. And then after that, we're going to take this thing for a drive in BeamNG.Drive. So sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so we're starting our build for our 1960s supercar, race car, thingamajigger. First things first, of course, the front end is the single most important part of the car. And I do spend probably almost half this whole time figuring out exactly how I want the front end to go, or exactly what I want the car to be styled after. I don't want to copy the headlights out of a GT40 or out of the equivalent Ferrari of the time or Porsche, etc. I want to have my own style to the headlights, and I do end up doing that. So the bottom, I do have almost like a smiling mouth grille with a vent on the side there, adding a bit of detail around that, and I finished off with a more modern grille with some circle headlights inside it. Basically the modern grille. The grille with the headlights acts as the housing, and the headlights are the actual headlight part. I make my own new yellow paint for this car, which I think I call like Sunkissed yellow. It's a nice yellow. I like it. Next, I add some detail to the hood, starting with double layer vents, and then start working on some stripes, which I eventually put down the entire length of the car. Then I add a simple number, or a simple circle where the number is going to go on the hood here, because of course this is part of a race car. This is a supercar. It's got to have numbers on it. This is a car that would have been raced, maybe, probably, I don't know, in the 1960s. Working on a bit more of the black trim right now, and I changed the wheels up to a bit more race-themed wheels. Continuing along, I'm painting the wheels now, basically, and adding on the back trim. Taking a look at the back, I add some quick vents, and I'm very satisfied with how those vents are. Adding some taillights, adding a bar across that with some more detail with those as well. And a similar rear design as the front is, just with a bit more opening at the bottom. And then a dual exhaust outlet similar to the Ford GT40 race car. Adding another number on either side of the car now. Just adding a few final touches, basically. The car, doesn't need crazy detail to look good, I think. So I think it looks quite good. Lastly, I do work on a really interesting wing design for the back here, which I think turned out quite well. I don't know if I liked it 100%, but I really wanted more aerodynamics. And now I'm just thinking of what I want to design the car, the logo after, and the name. So this is a logo I've used in the past, and I really like it. Nice, simple, clean logo. Tuning the suspension and stuff now. And finally, complete in front of us is the 1966 Zagora Venturi Le Mans Edition. Alright guys, so finished in front of us is the 1966 Zagora Venturi. This is the Le Mans spec. In the pictures and then the slideshow at the end there, it didn't turn out as good as what I was hoping for. It looks a little bit different there. One thing I noticed too is the headlights, they look fine in here, but in the pictures they look kind of off. I'm not too sure why. That's okay though. So we finished off with the same horsepower and torque. The biggest changes were a bit of tweaking of the suspension. Of course, we'll walk through the design real quick. And I tweaked the aero as well. This thing now does 0 to 60 in a whopping 3.2 seconds. Top speed is lagging behind the GT40. From what I can find, the GT40 can do around over 300 kilometers an hour, and we're doing under that. That's okay. We do have actual downforce, and it looks like we should be okay for driving. It's going to be a little sketchy, but I think we should be able to do it. Reliability is 27.5. Well, that's bad. That's okay. This car is definitely pretty exotic for the time, using pretty exotic materials, fiberglass, chassis, etc. So starting with the front design, we have a similar design of what would be Ferrari's, the Ford GT, and other Le Mans cars of the time, or other supercars or sports cars of the time. I didn't really take any design for anything there, just sort of made my own. Just used the vent as a housing and then added some headlights in there to give it basically shape and headlights. Just some basic grills in here with some lips in the front there to give it a bit of depth, and it looks quite cool. Some emblem in the front that I've used for my past, a couple of sports cars I've done in the past. A number 7 on the hood, because what number is more lucky than number 7? Tell me a number. I don't know. Let me know down below. What is your guys' lucky number? Mine personally is 13, but you know, I think second is like a world-known lucky number. So apparently, so 7 is what I went with for this bad boy. There's a 7 on the side there too, with a bit of design with that. It's not perfect, but that's okay. There's not a crazy amount of race decals and things like that on this car, because this is all vanilla. There's no mods right now for this. I'm in the public or the open beta. The wheels are pretty similar to other race cars of the time. A really cool wing that I sort of made at the back there. I love that a lot. We have, of course, the stripes going all the way through with the wing kind of glitching out, but that's okay. Simple little door handle. There's no fuel filler cap. I'm guessing it's under the hood. Sure, why not? That's okay. And the rear, I did take some liberties from the GT40. I also made a lot of my own though. So instead of having like, it's definitely, I think it looks better than the GT40. I'll show you guys a picture of the GT40 rear end, and I think this actually looks better. In my opinion, like even for 1966, I think it looks quite good. And I love this wing so much. So overall, definitely one of my more favorite designs to do, I think. Now all that's left to do, wait, is this plus 10? Okay. This is plus 5. We can go plus 10 on this, I think. Okay. Now what we're going to do is jump into BeamNG.Drive and see how this thing actually performs. Alright guys, so we're here in BeamNG.Drive. This is the Zagora Venturi, I think that's what it's called. It transfers over well to BeamNG. The front looks kind of weird, but that's okay. Like, it looks kind of wonky with the lights, but that's okay. And one of the vents isn't there. Again, that's fine. It's all perfect transferring over. The back end looks pretty great. Taillights look a bit weird, but that's okay. Everything's okay. It's fine. It's good. It's good. This is Hirochi Raceway, the long race circuit. I have very little seat time in this one. We're doing 2 laps. I was going to do 5 laps, but 2 is already a near impossible task with this thing. It's definitely a handful to say the least on the track. Probably on the street in general. Just driving this thing is not... Just don't drive this vehicle, to be honest. If you ever own one of these, just don't drive it. So this is a pretty long track. But it is very similar to the short race track and circuit, which I've done plenty of times. It's pretty much identical, just longer. It's literally just like the same track, but just longer somehow. I don't know. It's pretty cool. The first lap will be a bit cautious, I think. The biggest issue with this car is the back end slipping out. Obviously, it's a mid-engine car, so it's gonna want to slip out when you give it a chance to, and we're not gonna give it a chance to. So that was a very bad term, but we're not going for record times today, as I never do, because I'm not a good enough driver to do that. Staying third around these corners here. We're losing her just a bit. We got her though. That was close. I didn't like that at all. That was not fun. It was scary. Nice and slow through here. I'm screwed up all these corners, but that's okay. Car sounds absolutely fantastic. And we'll open up just a bit here. We have a bit of a straightaway. We'll go to about 200 kilometers there. That's what I feel comfortable at. Oh, we're starting to get a little loose. So, it's got some downforce, right? But obviously, it gets to a point where the slight downforce I have with that wing is absolutely not enough. I can only imagine the Ford GT driving it at 300 kilometers an hour, and so for hours and hours and hours, literally upon end, I could not do that. So hats off to anyone who races a car IRL, because yeah, could not do that for hours and hours upon end. I mean, I've been to a racetrack before with my own car, and I was there for like 7 hours, but you know, not racing for hours and hours upon end. I only raced for like, for 7 hours, raced for like what, 4 hours in total, in increments. Oh, what? We're going to 5th? I was going to 3rd there. There we go. Sorry, my bad. A little bit slow there. Gotta make up some time now. Braking in a straight line is also quite important, I feel like, with this car. Because, yeah, the second you give the back end the opportunity to step out, it's going to step out, and it's going to literally kill you. 100% of the time. There's no recovering the back end, really. Except for earlier, which I did recover the back end, but, you know, wasn't too far gone yet. Life's like that. We're gonna keep going. Now, I usually restart the recording if I'm asked about a track. I like to have, like, perfect laps for the recording. But, I just want to show you guys, like, it's not easy to drive this thing, fast. I'm gonna put the .car file for this build, for sure, post it online, so you guys can check it out if you want, and let me know if you can improve it, or get a better time on this track with it. Because, but my time's gonna be terrible. And we stepped it again. Obviously, we're not getting record time here, but that's okay. This is one of the cars I'm having a blast with not setting record times. As long as I don't total the car, which I'd feel so bad for, because this thing is pretty nice looking, I think. It's a good looking car. It's handsome. The acceleration is pretty instant. If you guys can beat 342.7 on Hero True Raceway along with this car, let me know in the comments below. Look at that. Just totaled. We're going to hop into free roam for a second here. And sort of... Yeah, the brakes aren't even sufficient to stop the car if you want to do a burnout. Nope, they're not. That's cool. So yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like down below. It does help me out a lot, and it means a lot to me as well. Subscribe for more automation content and stuff, and more stuff, obviously. Slowly working on more games. And, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what you want me to see. What you want me to see. What you want to see me do. If you guys want to see me play more automation, let me know. I want to play the automation campaign soon. Which should be a lot of fun. I've been practicing a bit, because obviously I want to have some practice before I jump into a recorded game, because I don't want to be absolutely terrible at the game. Some Gear City is going to come the next couple of days as well, another episode of that maybe. So stay tuned for that, and live stream is coming as well. So, thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you next time.